Welcome to the podcast. Today we are flipping the script. Ben and I are taking over. Alan and Jade are in the hot seat where we're asking them all the questions you guys submitted on our social medias to really get to the bottom of who is Alan, Jade, and Yankum Ropes.
And don't pretend like we know what we're doing because you guys asked the questions and they planned this and we're just winging it.
Honestly. This was a bad idea, I think.
But it was yours. Okay. Or his.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Listen, when you said you put the questions out there, I'm like, they're going to get like 2 or 3 questions. How many questions did you get?
I got 99 on YouTube and 38 on Instagram.
Okay. I didn't get anywhere near that.
But my first question is none of those.
Okay.
His phone's not even on right now, so this is probably coming from...
It's coming from the heart.
This is not a question from the audience. This is a question from you, right?
No, it's for the audience. It's a question from me for the audience.
Not your show. Flip the script.
Okay, sorry.
Not your show.
You guys have explained in the past, like the story of Yankum Ropes. That's out there on some videos you guys have done. I want to know the story of Alan and Jade. How did you guys get together?
Oh, that's a great question. So
I know.
This goes back probably 7 years ago. 7 years ago. We actually met at church, and it's kind of weird. We ended up sitting, I think, on the back row, believe it or not. Back row.
Kind of like high school?
Yeah, kind of sitting back there. We were the ones that were chit-chatting when everybody else was supposed to be paying attention.
Watching Fake Foot Marketplace at church.
That totally was me and Alan.
Yeah.
I was just like, I like cars. You like cars?
And we're like, yeah, I like cars.
Oh, we're friends now?
We're friends. We're best friends.
Sweet.
That's really, like, honestly, that's how it happened. And
totally organic?
Totally organic.
Yeah.
I don't know how much detail you want me to go into, but...
I was like, can I come over?
Yeah. Can we like hang out, like, and like sit in your Land Cruiser and stuff?
Yeah.
So, okay,
It's a Land Cruiser fan. Do it.
So that's how the friendship started. How did that friendship, though, turn into, hey, let's build kinetic ropes and jerk people out of the woods?
Yeah.
Like,
so,
how'd you get to that?
Yeah. So kind of, okay. So at the time I owned a lending company, and I was having a hard time finding leads. I instead of just cold calling, I was trying to find leads. I'd paid marketing companies like $50,000+ to say, just bring me business, right? And it wasn't working out very well. So as me and Alan were getting to know each other, Alan had studied marketing in college, and he was really passionate about it. He kind of talked about e-commerce and kind of wanting to go that direction, and that intrigued me. But at the time, I was just focused on building my lending company. And so as we got to chatting and getting to knowing each other, I was like, man, this dude's a cool guy. He thought, I'm a cool guy. And I was like, Alan, what do you think about helping me get leads for my lending business?
So it had nothing to do with ropes initially?
Had nothing to do with ropes initially.
Gotcha.
And at the time, Alan was working for a chemical company, and he was kind of the fix-it guy, like, drive semi, calibrate pivots, like you did all sorts of different stuff. And one day, Alan calls me up, and no, you sent me a picture. You sent me a picture, and I looked at it, and he's got like all this stuff all over him.
It looked like mud, but it wasn't mud.
What the heck is he doing? And he's like, dude, I hate my life. And I'm like, what's going on,
I'm auditioning
dude?
for Survivor.
I was like, why are you so muddy? And he's like,
it's not mud.
What was it?
He's like, it's manure.
Oh, no.
I had manure, apple poop.
Oh, no way.
Like just right up the side of my face because I was driving
a side-by-side.
A side-by-side, no doors, ripping through pivots because I was trying to get it done as fast as I could, and I was doing soil samples and hit a couple of cow pies in a row. Somebody got the squirts, running away from me.
But
and
it was all over.
Just like...
So when
like,
somebody says
up in my hair,
the shit hits the fan, Jade goes, look at this picture.
Yes. So
Here's
I'm
my
like,
friend Alan.
yeah, I'm like, I was like, felt bad for him. I'm like, dude,
yeah, that's nasty.
that sucks, man. And I knew Alan was super smart. Our personalities jived. And so I was like, dude, let's go to lunch. And so we went to lunch, and we sat down, and I said, listen, dude, you're not enjoying what you're doing. I really want to build what I'm doing. You love marketing. You know some stuff about marketing. How about you help me get leads for my business? And he kind of looked at me like,
I don't want a boss, is what I said.
yeah, you're like, I don't want a boss. And he's like, but I still need to make money, and I still need my job, because we hadn't talked about any of those details. I'm like, I'm not here to be your boss. I said, how about we go into business together, and let's create a marketing company and see what we can do. And so we went down that path for about a year, And
Well, let me backtrack too, because let's start that. And you were like, I'm gonna help you get the last little bit of what we need to get this business started. And you were like, what do you want to contribute to it? And I said, well, I have an e-commerce business called Yankum Ropes. We're doing kinetic recovery ropes. I'm scaling that because I was doing lots of off-roading with my family.
A lot.
Yep. And I was going down the road of off-road recovery, kinetic ropes, and I had done a lot of research in, I wanted to supply stuff for vehicles, emergency supplies, recovery gear, and Andrea, a couple weeks earlier, had come up with the name Yankum Ropes, and just because we had a prototype, we were out, and once all of our friends knew that we had this kinetic rope, we were getting calls all the time like, hey, can you come, yank my buddy out, or I'm stuck, can you come yank me out, or whatever, and Andrew's like, call it a Yankum rope, it just fit, the shoe fit, and it was great, and I was like, let's do something boring with numbers in it or something, I don't know, like how do we make something that's just, it started to take off, just as far as with friends and family, but we still weren't selling very many ropes. And I said, hey, you want to? I'll give you half of the tow rope business. Let's do the marketing business. And I was
Jade
like,
invests some money into the Yankum business to kind of try
that
to
was
get
absolutely
it kinda
worthless
going.
at the time.
Yeah, it was. I think you were selling a couple ropes a month, maybe at that point.
Maybe.
But I was
You're
like,
here's $10. I own half of everything you have.
Exactly. And I was like, yes, we're going
well,
somewhere.
but honestly, at the time, because I wasn't an off-road guy at all, I didn't know anything about that. I like cars and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, he's kind of crazy. He was obsessed about off-roading and stuff like that, and it just wasn't my thing. But he was so passionate about it that I'm like, after that meeting, I was like, maybe he has something here with this Yankum, these Yankum ropes, right? That I knew nothing about. Mm-hmm. And throughout the next year Alan put a lot of sweat equity and time and learning into programs, and we paid for courses with 5 or 6 gurus.
And doing lead generation for finance leads is really hard because there's a lot of things that you can't say. There's things that there's things that you have to.
So you were learning all that along this path.
There's lots of rules, like you can't use testimonials and stuff like that. That was very, very very regulated space, and so I started learning things like, tow ropes doesn't have to abide by FINRA because we're not selling financing or business loans or anything like that. And so I started applying that to the tow rope side of it, and it just started taking off. And then
we're like, maybe we should stop focusing on honestly, we had this conversation. I'm like, Alan, I think that you're passionate about that, and we're getting leads, but just the difficulties of doing that, and the cost was just crazy, to produce a lead. And so we just basically switched our focus from leads in lending to really what we became is even though Alan had started the company Yankum Ropes, we were a marketing company that got into the off-road recovery space.
And we wanted
that's what we were.
We wanted to manufacture. I wanted to make the rope. I wanted to do everything, but the cost for buying those machines,
crazy.
I couldn't mortgage my house and everything else like that to cover even just in order to get that machinery, you have to have a bunch of industry knowledge, and it was just, so we literally had to put the cart before the horse. We still do that every once in a while, but
all the time.
And that is
Good thing you have a finance guy.
Yeah, you have a finance guy.
He looks at the bottom line. No.
But that's a good idea.
I don't really like where you're going with this.
So, anyways, long story short.
That's kind of a long story short.
First question. There's 98.
Yeah. No, that wasn't even one of them. That was a bonus question.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right.
You know what's cool? I want to elaborate on that for just a second. So, fast forward 4 or 5 years. I've been spending a lot more time on the business side of Yankum Ropes. That's why a lot of people don't even know who I am, is because Alan's kind of been the face and the marketing guy, and I've kind of been the behind the curtain
told him. I said,
scenes guy.
You're the most YouTube famous non-YouTuber I've ever met.
Yeah, this is a guy,
Yeah, and so fast forward to today, now I'm becoming more passionate about this, and a lot of it is because honestly, this sounds crazy, but of the people that this is a cool network. There's some really fun, cool people. And I come from a world in the lending space where it's cutthroat, kind of serious, which is not my personality. And this just kind of fits me a little bit better. And so now we're both laser focused on just trying to sell everybody a rope and provide the best.
And I can say, in the last 2 years, I met you about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years, you've come much more to the forefront than you were before.
Yeah,
like when I first met you, and I wasn't even sure if you just worked for him, or if you were just like the accountant that's just in the back that's like, hey, no spending this week.
Yeah.
You know,
well, because honestly, like what it was is as Yankum Ropes grew more and more, like I was spending more time on it, and then I was splitting up my time between the lending and the rope business. And so, I mean, Alan can attest to this. I was like one phone and just constantly going, and I just didn't have time. Like I could never leave and come with him to anything. Like I just couldn't do it. Yeah. And so now we're here, and
and that's kind of what I was saying. As an outsider, but as your friend, as somebody I know you now, I see you out. You're out in your Jeep now. You're going four-wheeling more. You're
and it's actually dirty.
Yeah, it's dirty.
It's dirty.
It's dirty right now. There's proof. It's dirty.
And you're smiling and you're having fun and you're getting out and getting your feet wet, so to speak.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing to see that. You kind of come from behind the desk, so to speak.
And it's been a big transition for me because I don't have a lot of the skill sets as far as in the off-road space and that knowledge, and I'm just absorbing it, and
he's the businessman.
That's the good combination I've seen from an outsider's point of view who's seen a little bit of the inside of the business as well. Like it's a good combination of the business and more of that passion off-road idea guy. Yeah. Like I want to do this, 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 and this, and then like, how are we going to pay for that?
Alan's passion for the off-road space. If he wouldn't have had that passion, I'm not going to say Alan wouldn't be sitting here, but I wouldn't be sitting here if that wasn't the case in the very beginning. So.
No, I think it's a really good match. It's a good balance.
Yeah, we're both workaholics too, so we work for fun. So
yeah, we do work a lot. So
we know all about that.
Yeah, you guys do.
You have to be.
Enough of the serious stuff. Fan question time.
Okay.
Ben, you're up first.
Are you ever going to be offering off-road training at your Burley shop in Idaho?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to answer this a little briefly, and then you can elaborate. But me and Alan have massive plans over the next couple of years. We're looking to maybe moving facilities and.
Moving to Bend, that's cool.
Maybe.
Gonna be neighbors.
Be neighbors, that would actually be really fun.
We'd never get
I don't know if
anything
we'd get
done.
anything done.
Yeah,
but it'd be a really
might be a
fun
bad
time.
idea.
Never know.
But we want to develop even some little courses and stuff for people to go and kind of play and have fun on. And we've talked a little bit about doing some training, but we don't have plans right now. But it's actually a really good question.
I thought it was a neat question because this is just coming from a YouTube fan or whatever. They understand what you guys do. These are people that follow me, and I'm just an old truck registration guy or whatever. But they follow me, they follow you guys, and what you're doing. They're like, hey, I like what they're doing. Are they going to offer classes? That's a cool question. I think
That's a great question.
You guys should definitely, look into it. If nothing else, if you haven't thought about it.
We've done it at events, and that's something that we've thought about. We need to.
Well, they're asking for it.
We need to take some hats off.
Alan just did a couple classes. And so that's a good idea. Thanks for whoever that was that asked that question. That's thank you.
You bet.
So how come you can order Yankum hat, Yankum shirt, Yankum stickers, but you can't order Yankum key rings modeled after a miniature soft shackle?
Because the hands that it takes to make soft shackles that small are very small.
That was a really politically correct way of saying that.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Really teeny hands.
Okay,
Small
next.
hands. So that's, and it's just not legal. So anyways.
If we can figure a work around that, we'll do that.
Okay, I've got a comical question. We'll add a little bit of
Do we
comic.
have any serious ones? I think
Probably
we're done
not.
with that.
Okay, so this one was asked by another viewer. It says, what do Alan and Jade like better with meat, stuffing or potatoes?
What kind of meat? If
It's a generic question.
It's
Answer
got to
however you
be
want.
potatoes, man. We're from Idaho.
I was gonna say.
I mean, if we said anything otherwise, then we'd probably get beat up when we go back home.
I'd have to agree.
So,
All right.
Who's your favorite employee? Asked by an employee.
Oh,
but I'm not
who
going
is
to tell you.
that?
I'm not
I
gonna tell
already
you
know
which
who
one.
asked that question.
No, you don't.
I do too.
No, you don't.
We do.
I can say it, and I haven't even looked. Can I say who I think that it is?
You can.
I can't even
I'm going
answer.
to take a wild guess. Miley.
Nailed it.
You know your people.
Thanks, Miley.
Okay. They're all our favorite employees.
No, it's just like kids. You can't choose one.
Yeah. Can't pick
That's
one.
the politically correct answer, though. Good job.
Well, if
Well,
you pick
that's
one,
the
you
one
just
I'm gonna
don't
have to stick
tell
with.
anybody. Yeah.
Yes. But nice try, though, Miley. I know where you were trying to go with that.
Why don't your products work in Florida?
I don't know. I think it's kind of like how a lot of products don't work in California. I think is what it is.
Yeah, same.
You know.
So it's like carb related?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of
The
weird.
carb
kind of
emissions board
it
thing?
mixes in with our products.
That's weird.
They just don't like it
Funny.
there.
I don't
Maybe
understand
someday.
why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
I have to do a lot of reformulation and stuff
It's
like
the
that.
humidity.
Oh, it's definitely humidity on there.
Maybe it's elevation.
Yeah.
What's the longest rope you've ever made?
Well, I guess if we go from the machines, if we do 1/2 inch, what is that, 800 meters?
Yeah, I think so.
What's-
Can you
I'm
do it
gonna
for
get-
the?
Dan's
What's that
gonna
in bald
call-
eagles?
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
that in bald
Dan's
eagles
gonna-
and freedoms? We don't talk metrics.
All right.
Yeah, where's the calculator? I don't know.
I've got to be really careful to say that because Dan would probably hit me
Yeah.
when we get
How about a
back there.
range? We think roughly between 50 and 60 feet, roughly between 200 and 300 feet,
What's the longest single rope you've made?
Yeah.
I think the smallest rope, it's over a mile.
Long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of continuous rope.
Continuous rope,
Wow.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because the smaller the smaller the rope is, the finer the yarn, the more distance you'll get out of the machine. Because
Okay.
the machine will always hold, so our bobbins will always hold the same amount of nylon, physical weight of it. So if it's thicker yarn, you have less length on there. So if you go to a thinner yarn, meaning a smaller rope, you get more length out of it.
We are starting to get more requests though for a lot longer ropes, like 100, 200 foot ropes.
And one other question here is for bigger ropes. When is Casey Zackleth going to get synthetic lines on it?
That didn't come from the internet, did it?
It did. No, it did.
Oh, it did?
No
Okay,
kidding.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Literally.
I've gotten asked that a lot since I've got that. Are you going to put Yankum lines on there? Are you going to put switch to synthetic?
I think we're like 2 weeks.
2 weeks out?
Yeah, I don't think
I did place the order for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not very far. We were actually just talking about that last week. I think it is about 2 weeks.
Yep.
So that's coming.
Perfect.
5/8 line, right? It's the thick stuff.
3/4.
3/4. Yeah, 3/4.
there
Sorry.
you go.
I placed an order.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Shane
good.
did it. Okay.
You're getting what you ordered.
I'm glad Shane's on top of this.
Shane is on top.
Shane's
of it.
awesome. Yeah.
You guys have been super transparent right from the beginning on R&D, testing. You guys test. You have independent testing companies that test your ropes, test your knots, test everything. You guys are all about that.
They let me go film the testing and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest testers here.
scary.
So, on that note, a lot of these guys want to know, so what was the worst, because we know you guys are transparent about this happening. What's the worst breakage rope that you've ever got back, and what did they do to break it?
Like the
What's the
lowest
gnarly-
break or the highest break?
No, what's like the gnarliest? Like, what's the, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you guys broke that.
I think we hit 210.
But from a customer, not from a
customer.
test. Not from a test.
So we don't, believe it or not, we actually don't get a lot of broken ropes. Like the amount that we sell for the amount that we get actually returned back is very, very, very little. I think the only things that I can think of is like we've gotten a few 2 and 2.5 inch ropes that have come back, just they've gotten ran over or on a rough edge and just cut those things right in half. But to say that I don't even remember if we've seen like a bigger rope like break just from a recovery.
We've had, it usually when we have a rope failure, it's because too small of a rope was used for too large of an application.
For the application, yep.
So what happens most of the time is you've got a farmer that's got a 1 inch rope for his diesel pickup, right? And he can't get the combine that's buried to the mirrors out of the field, right?
Yeah.
And so you're bouncing on the end of that.
The
about
big
50
bud that
times.
weighs 38,000
Right.
pounds with
Yeah,
54-inch
it's
tires.
It's not moving,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
might as well try, right?
Sure.
And then
So the
then
3/4 ton
tractor-
Dodge.
so then a larger tractor backhoe shows up. Instead of classing up to the next size of rope for that vehicle, it's just, well, hey, the rope didn't break for the pickup, it should be fine for the next one, and then it snaps the rope there. And so we see that all the way up. Typically, the reasons why is either pinching, abrasion, or it's just on a really rough edge, or they didn't put the rope with the right application.
That
So
was,
yeah, and
that was exactly what I did with the heavy wrecker. Is when I got my heavy wrecker stuck, we pulled out the 7/8 rope out of the back of the pickup and tried pulling out with the pickup, and that didn't work.
Yeah, I couldn't do
so
it.
So then the snow plow shows up and the rope's already hooked up. It's like, hook it up and let's go.
Let's see what happens.
It didn't break, but that scenario is exactly how that
That's what breaks our ropes.
So
Yeah, right
I was going to say, for clarification, for the people that don't understand that, the rope is classified by the vehicle that's doing the pulling,
Yes.
not the vehicle that's being
Yes.
pulled out. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if I
you're-
have a Volkswagen Bug and I want to pull out a Cadillac Escalade, I'm classifying it off of my Volkswagen Bug, not off of the Escalade.
Correct.
Because that's the vehicle that's doing the inertia.
Yeah,
right?
and
That
that's
was
why
actually
people-
a question in here: is how do I pick what size rope?
Okay.
It's based off the physical weight of your recovery vehicle.
Gotcha.
And then people will say, well, I've got a side-by-side, I got a pickup, I've got a backhoe. Which
Sounds
one
like
should
you
I
need
get?
3 different ropes.
Yeah, well, you could, but what I always say is, okay, when someone is stuck, when somebody calls you and I need help, or you're going to go rescue someone, what are you going to take? Are you going to take the backhoe, or are you going to take? And they're like, well, it just depends on what the application is. Okay, but what are you most likely to take? If you're asking me to pick the rope for you, I'm going to say, well, what are you most likely to drive?
Right. And then most of the time they say
Get
the
that
pickup
rope.
truck.
They're going to say the pickup
Yeah.
truck. And so the 1-inch rope is the most popular rope.
Okay.
Yeah. Going back to the library really quick on the testing part of it though, at any given time, we have ropes, soft shackles, our metal products out for testing all the time. There is not a week that goes by that we don't have something either being sent to testing or something being sent back from testing.
Yeah.
So that's how serious we take that.
No,
our
and I know
products.
that. I was just trying to
Yeah.
for people who are asking that question, I wanted them to understand how transparent I know
Yeah.
you guys are
Yeah.
and how much you do put into that, because that's important.
It's batch testing too, because I mean we're trying to make sure to verify the fiber and everything is still
Sure.
of the grade that we're putting into the
Right.
ropes. So
You want to make sure your warranty stands up to the product you're making, not your product standing up to the warranty you're putting
Correct.
out. Yeah.
Correct.
How do you make any money when you keep giving free ropes to these YouTube hacks like Casey LaDelle?
Good question. Ask him.
I knew that was coming.
Ask the money guy.
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, that can be a little bit of a tough thing.
There are times where I'm like, yeah, we've got that right on the way, and he's like coming around the corner like,
Oh, no.
Alan,
No.
you just did what?
Dude.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's
dude,
another
it's
farm
fine,
channel.
man. It's like not that much, and I'm like, but we just sent like all these other people. So it's a balance, but we also want to, we want to make money, but we want to give the YouTubers, influencers, the tools that they need to be able to perform their jobs too, and so we want to give them the correct stuff, and so it's a balance act.
and it depends too on the size of the channel, because
Yeah.
like we get hit up a lot. This is my job. I get hit up a lot. Just saying, hey, I'm going to be the next Matt's Off-Road Recovery. I know I'm going to be a big, huge hit. I'm going to beat Heavy D. We're gonna do tons and tons of stuff.
Wow,
Give me
look
a
at
rope.
you name drop.
And so
That's really smart because the algorithm picks up on that and
Ding,
creates
ding,
links.
ding,
It
ding.
does.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah. All right.
I didn't do that on purpose
It
at all.
hears what you say
So-
as well.
AI.
So anyway, and like, okay, great, cool, let's do this. I believe in you. Do you have a YouTube channel? No, I haven't started a YouTube channel yet. This is going to take off. We're gonna do really good. Do you have an Instagram? Well, yeah, I got my family and friends, like 300 followers. Okay, great, cool. We don't say no. I mean, it's as long as they understand the safety, how the rope works, and they're going to operate correctly. Those are very, very important aspects. It's not willy-nilly. But I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity if they want to become, and we're not going to say, no, you have to be really cool and popular before you can get to a certain point. No,
but
As
you have-
proven
but-
by the
but
fact
you have
that
to
you
have
reached out to me.
requirements.
Yeah,
we have requirements. So, if someone, like for instance, we've had like fertilizer salesmen come and just say, hey, I want to sell your ropes. Great, cool, we can do that. It's the same affiliate program, compensation and stuff like that. But what we do is we set it up and cater it so that then, if it doesn't work out, we're not just handing out ropes for free to a whole lot of people that say that they're going to take off. And we've been very surprised by some famous people that use our stuff use it right and do everything that they can, and they don't move very much. And we've even been very surprised by very small, non-existent itty-bitty channels that take off.
There he is talking about you.
No, it's crazy.
I thought you were a scammer when you called.
Yeah.
Like, no way. Like,
Well, I was like we were.
and I'm sure that was one of the ones where Jade was coming around the corner going, "Whoa, whoa,
What are
whoa!"
you
Like, what are you doing?
Well, remember we were
breaking
talking
the
about this
rules,
earlier.
dude.
It's like this was what 3 years ago or however
Yeah.
long back, and it was like, oh man, dude, do we even have one to give
Wait,
him?
you just sent
Like,
what
that's
to a guy with
literally the
only 2,000
conversation.
subscribers that nobody watches?
Which
Like,
customer did you steal that
Yeah.
from? To
Yeah.
And then of course when we came and met you, and I was like, oh, dude, this guy's.
I think I took it out of my vehicle.
This
Like
guy's
seriously, it was just like, here's mine.
See what you can do with
It
it.
wasn't used, so
Yeah.
And had you not done that,
We probably wouldn't be here right now.
I know.
right?
we wouldn't be
sit-
friends.
Yeah, I wouldn't know you.
Imagine how much farther ahead your business would be.
The accountant side of me. Shoot.
Where is the Land Cruiser?
Where's the Land Cruiser? It's in Manti, Utah. Getting work done. Yeah, someday.
Body swap?
No, it's getting fixed. Actually,
Okay.
It's in good hands.
It's in
Okay.
better hands than me. So
It's in good hands.
Would you ever make a pink Yankum rope?
we have.
We've actually, yeah,
We
we
made like 2 or 3.
Colors,
we-
colors is
we-
a good thing because you guys do offer a lot more colors now.
We do, and we're getting that question like
A lot.
a lot.
There is quite a few in here of can I get a tan one? Can I get a blue one? Can I get a pink
Yeah.
one?
Well,
There's-
get all
I
of
like
those
that
colors.
because
Yeah.
you recognize the rope for what it is, and it was always like the red Yankum rope. But now
Yeah.
it's like Rory has the green rope. But you know Rory's doing Yankum ropes, so it's Rory's green Yankum
Yeah.
rope. But it's the same rope.
Matt's got the
Matt
yellow
has the
rope.
yellow one. Casey uses
I
the
got
red
the whole
one.
company, all the red ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
red ones.
I have the red ones because International Harvesters
Yeah.
red, so we
Yeah.
I got a red. But it's neat to have those other colors. 'Cause I think a lot of people just don't want to have the same thing as everybody
Yeah,
else.
there's
They
a lot of
want the
questions in
quality,
here
but-
about
yeah,
color options, and
Yeah.
I've seen you guys posting a
Yeah,
lot
and
more
we're
colors
and,
available.
and we're working on it, kind of expanding that a little bit. We kind of wanted to start off with 5 or 6 or 7, and then I'm not saying we're gonna like come out with every single color, but your pink's been
It's been asked a lot.
getting that a lot.
I do pink rope for sure.
The problem is that
outlawed
I'll
color
just leave my red one out in the sun
And
long
California.
enough.
yeah, just leave it outside. Yeah,
Won't work there.
Nope.
The issue is color's expensive, and we just have to be really careful of what colors we get that we have, because as soon as we open up that color, we have to use it in a certain amount of time in order to make
it's a big amount.
Well, yeah, and in order for that color to be cost effective for us to make money on the ropes, we have to order enough of it. So we have to, as soon as we crack that open, we have to use it.
So dye 100 ropes blue and 5 people buy them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and the last thing we want to do is make a whole bunch of ropes and then sit on inventory. And so we really do our best to make it just in time.
Yeah,
So
but I think a pink rope is in the future.
I do pink rope for sure.
Yeah,
Breast cancer awareness.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
man.
could do a little donation piece or
Heck
something
yeah.
like that. I'm not
Yeah.
telling you your business, Mr.
No.
Business Model.
No,
but
that's-
just do a
that's-
small
that's
portion of
awesome,
every
yeah.
sale goes towards that. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might offset the old tax at the end of the year.
There you go.
Why can't I get a Yankum rope in Europe?
you can. The problem is, and we're still trying to figure this out, there's taxes and tariffs and shipping outside. And we have sent ropes to Europe. If there's a specific problem, or just reach out to us, send us an email, shane@yankum.com. So, and we'll, that's his department. Well, we have, we work on the internet. We're a business of systems, and sometimes those systems just are inconvenient, or sometimes don't offer the best real offer, especially when we're talking about certain countries in Europe. So
And it just takes time. Like we have a lot of requests out of Australia for people wanting to sell our ropes in Australia, and that's
That'd be a big market for you guys.
yeah, and it's actually we've been getting this question honestly like on a monthly basis, and we have so much other stuff going on, and we want to pursue those things, but there's so many steps. If you get one of those steps wrong, you could ruin the whole thing.
So you got to tread lightly.
We
You
do.
gotta one
Gotta be
step at a
very
time.
careful.
Yeah.
Yep.
You brag about your products being made in the USA, but do the fibers that actually make the rope come from overseas?
Nope. No. In order to have that high of grade of nylon 6.6, there's only a few places where you can source it, and none of that is across the body of water.
Nice.
So when we say made in the United States, and we make it there.
How many yanks does it take to get to the center of a Yankum rope?
Depends on how big the yank is.
Yeah, it depends on.
Wow, we went down that road. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and how hard those yanks are.
Yeah. And if they have coating or not coating.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
best thing to do is 5 miles an hour, 5 times, let it rest for 15 minutes, and then you'll never get to the center.
Have you ever
never
followed
find
that
that out.
recipe?
Yeah,
Okay.
It happens.
it happens.
I've watched you winching and straps and,
This is,
I've been there.
Back to the serious questions. In the early days, was there anything that made you consider giving up on the business?
yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah.
I didn't even finish
A
saying
deep
it.
breath.
Yeah, man. This, I can't speak for Alan, but I've owned businesses since I was 23 years old, and this was our first go at manufacturing. And Elon Musk says it. He said he was interviewed a couple of months ago, and they asked him, "What is the most challenging thing in your business?" And his response was interesting. It wasn't the innovation, even though that stuff's hard. It wasn't even the R&D. It was the actual manufacturing of his products. He said is the most challenging thing. And so you're talking about the wealthiest person in the world is saying this, right? Mm-hmm. And so, when Alan and I looked at each other and said, "Hey, we've got to take this manufacturing on because we can't keep up with the demand," we were scared, and
we were also dumb.
we
were like, how hard could it be?
how hard could it be? Yeah. And so I would say, man, me and Alan have had a lot of conversations where we're like, I don't know how we're going to get through this. More than you'd probably realize, but that's what makes.
I've been in business long enough to have had many of those conversations myself too, so yeah. I believe it.
So I think to answer that question too is I think if those things aren't happening, you're not pushing yourself enough, and you're not being aggressive enough.
I fully believe that the worst place to be in business is comfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm very good at keeping myself in an uncomfortable place.
Me and Alan have become very good problem solvers. We're to a point now where. And it's not that we're saying that we've really done anything because we have, big goals and stuff, but we've become very good problem solvers. But our level, what used to be our level 10 problems have now become our level 2 or 3 problems. And we've just...
Is that because you've got yourself bigger problems now?
Bigger problems, yes, more of them. And you guys can say the same thing. I mean, you guys deal with problems every day, and you've got to figure out how to navigate through them and around them. But to answer the question, it's been more than we can count on our hands and toes.
It's a weekly basis.
I think if you don't, in business, if you don't set goals that scare you, you're not setting a good enough goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because the only way you're ever going to actually move forward is to set a goal that's like, God, how the heck are we going to do that?
Yeah.
And then you figure it out. You're like, oh, well, we need to raise the bar then because we didn't set it far, Yeah. And that's how you innovate and how you accelerate, how you move forward, how you make it, make progress, I guess. Yeah.
We moved into our current facility about 2 years ago, and we moved from a smaller facility to the one we're in now, and we literally took 2, they're called Gaylords, they're big cardboard boxes. We brought over 2, maybe 3 Gaylord boxes from the previous facility over into our new facility. And me and Alan sat there and looked at this big old space. I think it's 17,000 square feet. And we're like, we are stupid. Like,
we're never going to
How are we going to fill this?
Just do. Like, how are we going to do this?
And now you're out of room wondering what you're going to do.
When we're going to get another building that's at least 17,000 so we can double what you have now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need 30.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Direct question from me and Ben. What's with the jackets?
Our jackets?
You guys have been bundled up all day.
Dude,
you're acting like it's winter with 61 degrees outside.
Ben was making fun of me earlier for my Nike shoes. I'm a big shoe guy for any of those people out there that want to know.
I don't have a problem with you being a shoe guy, but don't complain about how cold you are.
I shouldn't be cold because I am carrying some extra weight.
You have your winter weight on. Yeah.
I do.
And a beard.
And a beard. I don't know what, but that's the problem, man.
Now you got a hat on.
This is just radiating
That's it, dude.
around.
Where's the Yankum beanie?
At least
It's
you
in
guys
the
don't.
Jeep.
At least
The
you guys
dirty
don't
Jeep.
have
The dirty Jeep.
At least you don't have members only jackets on.
Right.
I mean that then because those guys are dead. So.
Yeah. I don't know why we're so cold. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you've both been shivering all day.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
cold in Idaho. I don't get
He's
it.
been sitting on a bench all day.
Casey's over here just chilling with his T-shirt on, and I'm like,
Most of the day.
what's wrong with this
Yeah.
guy? Like, he's gonna get cold. And he's skinny, so it's like, what's my problem? I don't know.
Cold just blows right past
You
me.
know how you get skinny? You get an ostomy bag. Boom.
helps.
That's how you get skinny.
Actually, that's why I gained weight finally.
Really?
Well, I was so sick all the time. I was
Because
Like shriveling away.
the poison was in you, not getting out of you.
pretty much. But
Yeah.
no, I was so sick all the time, like shriveling away. I actually gained weight. I'm heavier now than I've ever been.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
still
I gained
skinny.
weight with that because I actually got like,
You're able to
I wasn't
retain.
sick and dying
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I ate and drank what you eat and drank, I would weigh 300 pounds.
Well, I have a stomach to keep it in, so it's just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I followed your regimen,
There's
I
no
would.
storage.
No.
Yeah, no storage. Yeah, processing's about half.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2
The time I
hours.
eat something, the time it's gone.
Oh
2
wow,
hours.
that's pretty quick.
It's like ding,
That's
ding,
why
ding.
I'm always.
Oh.
That's why I'm always snacking.
Yeah, you
Yep,
always
gotta
have
go.
to be eating.
I always have to be snacking because if I eat like a meal and then wait half the day for another meal, my stomach is, or my intestines are left have gone completely empty.
Oh, yeah.
And
He has
then,
no
then your
energy.
body's like completely starving because there's nothing at all for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always like snacking.
Yeah, otherwise you go into shutdown pretty quick.
Yeah, I go on a road trip with them, and it's like every 2 hours we stop and get more snacks. And the first couple times I'm like, why is he eating so much? And then finally like learned about it, and I'm like, oh, we gotta maintain.
And
It's
you're
a
just like,
maintenance.
man, this is great. Every 2 hours, we're
Yeah, I get a
just
corn dog
eating,
and
man.
Snickers.
It's like, this guy's
Mountain
great.
Dew and-
If we get back home with trip, Ben's like, I can't travel with you anymore.
I'm so bloated.
You come to put your pants on at home, they're like, they don't fit.
Like, oh my God, what's the new belt size? Oh well.
You don't have to be specific on this one because it might give away ideas that you might circle back to, but has there ever been any products that you have tried and failed?
Yeah,
We actually, yeah.
but,
you can-
we're not going to say anything about it because
Yeah.
we're not done trying it.
we have actually one right now, and it's Alan's.
It's sitting in my office
Alan
and
has
mocking me.
Alan has a lot of ideas because he's in that space and he spent so much time on trails and stuff. So he does have a lot of ideas. There's been a couple, and this is another part of business that you just have to try things. And if you're not failing, I believe if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. And one of those things is the R&D part of it. We had one project that just completely fell on its face. And it could
And it was like, oh, this is going to
pick
be
up
amazing.
some steam
And
at
then
some point, but we lost a good amount of money, and I was like, yeah, this. Anyway, yeah. So we've gotten what two or three of those.
Yeah.
We got one right now though that I think that we might have something. Alan might have something for this next one. So.
All right, this one's a little out of the box. You guys asked me a lot of questions that kind of caught me off guard, so I don't know if this catch you off guard. As a young person wanting to start their first business, what's the best piece of advice you'd give a young person who wants to start their first business?
do it.
I said you're at 23. You started.
Don't wait for everything to seem perfect. Because more than likely at a young age, that business is not going to end up being the business that ends up making you a lot of money as a business owner. There's going to be a progression, there's going to be steps, there's levels in business and in life. So just go out and do it. Just like you guys said with the YouTube channel, you just do it. You don't have to have all the perfect gear and all the right stuff. You just go and do it. And you'll learn through your mistakes. That's how you learn.
And don't give up if the first idea or the first iteration of your idea doesn't work. You keep working on it, you keep refining it, and it will fail. The idea that you have will probably not work, but it will lead to the one that does. And so that's what I mean. When Yankum Ropes was not the first e-commerce business that I'd started. It was my third. But it was my seventh business. I mean, from
When you
from
were
high
super
school,
young,
till now.
Yeah.
But,
I
but
think
at the same
Cascade
time,
Heavy Rescue is 5 or 6.
And that's a
Yeah.
common response. And the saying of everybody overestimates what they'll do in 2 to 3 years, but underestimates what they can do in 5 to 10. That is a very true statement. And you got to also be careful that your idea that you have, that there's actually a demand, that it makes sense, and that you're passionate about it. Because if you don't have at least a couple of those two things, it's probably not going to work, and you'll probably fail, which is okay. But that might lead you into your next business that you can take those lessons and implement them, and then.
Yeah. Well, I started at 26, and a couple times I went back to working a job till I got the next thing going, and went for the next one. I think that happened a couple times. But you just keep going. And I like what you said about it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need the perfect gear. It doesn't have to be perfect. You have to want it, though.
My first couple of businesses were side businesses. I still had a job, and then I had a side business that I was trying to build, and it didn't work out, or it did work out, or it just kind of aided what I'm doing. And 406 Garage, what I'm doing now, it's like the 4th or 5th one that I've done. So I know
that's the common theme here. All of us are.
All of us.
None of us are in the first business.
The average is that the average entrepreneur will fail 5 businesses before they begin to succeed, and that's before they begin to succeed, not that they will.
Yeah.
I did a lot.
I still consider in the beginning to succeed stage for me. It's like because I see so much more I want to do with it and take it. But it's so this is like.
And what's your definition of success? Right.
That's a big one there.
Different.
Yep, that's a big one there. And like say like, what is the goal? Why do you want to do this? The why is more important than anything. It's like, what's your end goal with it? Do you want to build up a business that you can sell and make a big chunk of money off of? Do you want to build up something you hand down to your kids? Do you want to build something that can kind of run its own and give you a residual income to retire on? Like, what's the goal? Because that's going to change completely how you need to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough, right? So that has to be what pushes you every day, because it's not easy. And Alan and I are in year 5, 4, year 4 or 5, and
with Yankum.
April. Yeah, with Yankum Ropes, and it's like, we think that we have another 5 years before we look at each other and say, hey, I think we've kind of done something here,
Yeah, we're nowhere near succeeding in our eyes. Like, it's working.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It's working, cash flowing, all of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything
But
else.
it's not your definition of success yet, because you still have goals that are out there that you haven't reached yet, and you want to get to those, and it's going to take time.
If you have reached your goals, you need to set new ones as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And it sounds cliche, it sounds crazy to say this, but it's like, if you truly want to go down this path of entrepreneurship, I think so many people out there think that it's a lot easier than what it actually is, but you have to be mentally prepared and know that it's a whole nother world. It's a different ball game. You have to, I'm not saying you have to be born to do it, but you kind of have to be wired a little bit different.
You have to have the mentality to do it.
You know what I mean?
There's this meme going around, you don't stop when you're tired, you stop when you're done. And what time is it right now?
It is 10:39 at night.
Okay. We've done 6 podcast interviews, 6 commercials.
Yesterday we did a full day, got here at 4 a.m., got to bed at 4 a.m. 2 days ago. Did a whole day yesterday.
And then tonight, so we got an hour of packing up, we got a half hour of driving back to the Airbnb, and then we have, James, we got 3 hours of campaign? Yeah, Red Bulls.
Yeah.
We got it.
So we'll basically be up till 2 or 3 in the morning.
So everybody here is tired because I was up all night last
Yeah,
night.
you were.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're going to here all day today, and then we're still here at 10:40. And every one of us is tired.
And then tomorrow
we're not done.
Yeah.
We're not done. And
we're
we're
still
all going to
going.
be back here at 10 o'clock, get everything loaded up, and head out and meet everybody in town at 11 and do it all over again.
That's the mentality and the drive it takes to make a business work.
It's sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of, especially young people, do not understand. It's not to discourage anybody to not start a business.
To get them to know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what you're getting yourself into.
Correct, because it's a lot easier to give up when you don't have that mindset and that understanding. And so for anybody out there that's wanting to start a business, like, go find a mentor.
Oh, huge help, yeah.
And that's probably the other thing about starting a business is find a mentor that has what you want and is doing what you want to do, and just find out how they did it and ask the hard questions that you're asking us right now, and that will make you into the best business owner that you can become.
That's a life advice there is you become a product of your environment. Surround yourself with the type of people you want to be.
Right.
That's more than business. That's just in life.
You want to be rich, hang out with rich people. Like, literally, it sounds cliche or silly, but do that. If that's what you want, do that.
If the people in your life and around you in your circle aren't the type of people you want to be,
you need a new circle.
Yeah, show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
You said also the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with is who you become.
Yep. And if you're the smartest person in the room and you're the one that knows the most about everything, you're in the wrong room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless they're paying you.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Businessman.
He writes the checks. I just do the work. Dang it.
I will say this. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm having the time of my life.
This is fun, yeah.
And
with cool people, and that makes it better.
This is way better than cleaning insulation out of
I
crawl
think what a
spaces
lot of
with dead
people in business
raccoons,
forget is it's things like this and activities like this that you'll remember. You won't remember the check that you had to write that was way more money than you need to spend, or the problem or the problem that you got on your desk that you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to fix this. All that goes away when you have a memory like this to erase it with, because it's stuff like this that springboards you forward.
Yeah.
It builds relationships, it builds the business, and it makes you feel like, yeah, I put in all the time, and then you get the reward, you get the customer, you get the review, you get the social media, you make the video, whatever the goal is, and you know that you put in the time to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's just like the fact that we all did what we did is the reason us four have become such good friends.
none of us would ever run into each other in this world had we not done what we're doing.
And it's like we call each other, we hang out, we talk, we travel and visit, like when the cameras aren't there.
Yep.
Like,
And thanks,
true,
Matt.
legitimate friends.
Yeah, and Matt Wetzel gave me your phone number,
Yeah.
so thanks, Matt.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. That's important, is be around people that you trust and you like, and having these friendships makes nights like this fun and easier.
It's the reason we're still willing to sit here at 10:43 at night after being here all day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for letting us interview you guys and for being transparent and telling us the things that might have been a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, thank you for joining our podcast that we took from you.
Yeah.
Yes.
No problem. Anytime.
In
Thanks
my
for-
shop that you've been commandeering for the last 2
Yeah,
days.
I'm looking at people and saying, dude, are you guys sure Ben's okay, man? Like, we kicked him out. We kicked his employee out. It's
His
like,
kid had to borrow tools
his
to work
kid-
on his own
I look out there and his poor kid's out there borrowing Casey's tools, and I'm like, we kicked him out of his shop,
You're
guys.
sitting in front of the toolbox.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Ben, you're awesome, man. Casey, you're
No, it's been
you guys
fun.
Are, you guys are
I'd do it
awesome,
anytime.
so-
And anytime you get a text from you guys, you want to do it, it's like, when do we need to make it happen? 'Cause
I guess
that's what you do for
I guess
business.
the next time is come to Idaho, but I don't.
And I know you guys.
Oh, well, there's got a good reason to come to Idaho here in just like a couple weeks.
It's gonna be fun. I'm stoked. And hey, I know you guys don't ask for people to subscribe and like your guys' channel, but you guys, everyone that's watching this channel, please go to Casey LaDelle on YouTube and 406 Garage. Go check them out. Go watch at least 3 videos in a row. Like, subscribe.
You'll watch more than that because they're awesome.
You'll love it. It's
Ben has to post more than 3 videos in a row.
yeah. So to the 5 people that are watching this right now, go check these guys out. So it's a lot of fun.
And subscribe to this channel while you're at it.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. This
Thank
is great.
you guys. It's been fun.
Thank you.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Now let's do the other 3 to 4 hours of work we have to do tonight so we can go wheeling tomorrow.
Yes.
Yep.